Hello and welcome to the Full Send Half Mast podcast episode 48. And tonight we are going to be talking about IndyCar, Indy NXT. We're going to give you a preview of what to expect for 2024. We'll talk about a few races that we're going to preview, talk about the All-Star race a little bit here tonight and how interesting that is. And then we have a bunch of news, a lot of NASCAR news actually. A lot of stuff's been announced here over the last few days. And then we will go over some. We didn't get any questions from you guys on the poll, but there's a few questions I want to ask Tom going into this podcast here and some topics of discussion. But before we get into this podcast tonight, we're going to get a quick word from our sponsor and we'll get right into it. Alrighty, the holiday season is here. There's only a few more days till Christmas. So what better gift to throw in your stockings for all of your family and friends than W Energy Blends? Introducing Neurofactor, an all-natural coffee cherry extract to help fuel you with energy, laser focus, and fast reflexes. Provides concentration with important aminos and vitamins without the crash that ordinary canned energy drinks just cannot provide. Try amazing flavors such as Dragonade, Dub Sludge, Galaxy and my personal favorite, Beach and Peach. Buy the starter pack today, including 2 flavors and a shake cup for an extremely low price. Follow the link in the description below and use promo code DAGABOYS for 10% off your order. Thanks to Dubby for their continued sponsorship of DAGABOYS Broadcasting. Alrighty. I guess first off, I'm gonna ask Tom, how are you doing today, man? Looks like you got a new venue behind you and everything here tonight.
Oh, baby. I'm here in Elkhart, Indiana, facing the cold, snowy weather here. But having a good time, baby. Having a good time.
Heck yeah. I appreciate you making time to come and talk some racing with me here tonight on the Full Send MS podcast. Just less than a week now from Christmas. This will be the last one before Christmas. I hope you guys have been enjoying these shorts that me and Tom made, the 12 days of motorsports. There's a few more of them to come out over the next few days, so make sure to stay tuned to that. We had a great time making that content. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm excited for what there is to come with that series here. Alrighty, well, let's get right into the news. So JGR, a lot of rumblings. We talked about it last week with the Xfinity one. Tom mentioned that Chandler Smith, that wasn't announced, but he was potentially going to Toyota, and it was announced that he will be joining Sheldon Creed as a full-time driver in the Xfinity series. And also, Eric Almirola, John Hunter Nemechek are going to be full-time, splitting the number 20 for the Owners' Championship for Joe Gibbs. And then in their third car, their all-star developmental car, I guess, whatever they keep changing the name to on a yearly basis. But this year, it's going to include William Swalich, Joe Graf Jr., Taylor Gray, and Ryan Truex in the number 19. So, yeah, interesting. Expectations for maybe the Almirola Nemechek ride, the developmental ride. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I think they could get some race wins there. I'm curious to see what Eric Almirola can do in an Xfinity car, right? Because we haven't seen that in some time. So I don't know. I feel like it'll be a good opportunity for Eric just to chill out, and run some Xfinity. But I think we see much of the same with John Hunter. Honestly, same team, same crew behind him. Yeah,
I agree. I think I'm out of the 4 developmental drivers: Swalich, Graf Jr., Taylor Gray, Ryan Truex. Which one do you think has the best odds of winning a race next year?
Oh, Swalich.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty. I'll stamp that one. Take it to the bank on that one.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Swalich for sure.
Oh man, I'm excited to see Chandler Smith, Sheldon Creed combo work here in the Xfinity series. I think that's going to be a very interesting teammate dynamic.
Yeah,
really excited to see where that goes going into 2024. Also, our boy SVG Shane Van Gisbergen, full time in the number 97 with Colleague, part time in the Cup with Colleague, with starts at Coda, twice at Talladega. So we'll get to see him in person there, Tom. Here we go,
buddy.
And then the 600, the Chicago Street Course, Watkins Glen, and Las Vegas. Alrighty. First thought here from me when I saw this announcement is, I've been saying it. I think I've been telling you this maybe off stream. I might have said it on stream. I'm not sure at this point. But the 97 car, man.
Heck
I
yeah,
love to see it, man. Like whenever
iconic.
yeah, awesome. Like that's why I was hoping if he goes to Cup Series, I hope he continues riding the 97 car. Like that's his
Yeah.
number, man. Like I don't
And
know what to say.
it's got a great history in NASCAR too. It's not just Shane's number in in Australia, but um it's got championships behind it, lots of race wins behind it. It'll be switching from the old Ford banner to Chevrolet, but nonetheless, it's still cool. Like, it's my favorite number. I really like the number 97, but I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, I think it's fitting for Shane Van Gisbergen,
Yep.
and I like this. I like the whole idea of kind of not getting away from his roots, bringing that number over. We saw with Jimmy Johnson when we went to IndyCar, like 48, not really a number you really know in IndyCar too well, and Jimmy Johnson kind of brought it with him, and that was cool. It didn't work out in particular ways, but but yeah, it's cool. I guess my concern here with him racing in the Cup Series is I don't really understand the track selection. I get Coda, I get Watkins Glen, I get Chicago, but Talladega twice? Are they trying to get him warmed up to the super speedway stuff? Because this is like probably the furthest away that of type of racing he's ever done. Sending him out on
Yeah.
Dega.
I think that might have been a personal request, if anything. Because if I was a team owner and I had an asset like Shane, I would not take him to super speedways in the Cup Series. I'd at least try to make him run maybe like a Truck Series race at Talladega or Daytona or an Xfinity race, which that might be a little bit more dangerous. Well, not really. Everybody's crazy when it comes to freaking super speedway racing. So I don't know. I mean, he's got to be introduced to it sometime. We all know Shane wants to go full time Cup racing, so he's got to get introduced to it sometime. Um, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that's a good introduction to the Cup Series.
Yeah,
To go.
right? I don't know.
Yeah,
Pretty
I don't know.
crazy. I think that he'll be competitive in the other races that he's in. I mean, Colleague, I think I don't know. We've kind of made our opinions on Colleague, but I think he's probably going to be the best Cup driver Colleague has in their lineup
Yeah,
with the
he's
least
the
amount
only
of
one with a
experience.
win.
So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works out in the Cup Series with Colleague in a third car there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, be interesting. All right, we'll move on from that. Next is Lyle Gregson signs with SHR in 2024, multi-year deal in the Cup Series. Your thoughts?
Career killer.
Yeah.
Not like he had a career anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a terrible move by him, but nonetheless, I like having Gregson in the Cup Series. I think he's a good personality to have in the Cup Series. I mean, we bag on him a lot, but for good due reason, man. He got to give us something to talk about. This guy has just opened up the playbook for things to talk about. I guess I'm super excited to see what kind of haircut he debuts at the 500 this year. I think that's where I'm most looking forward to.
I'd be disappointed if it's anything other than like a reverse mohawk.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking. I was like, he should do the reverse bowl cut that he did. So instead of shaving like the side of his head and leaving the hair on the top, he should cut the bowl off the top and leave the hair on the side.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man, I'm excited. We'll see. I don't think I mean odds of him being competitive. I think there's zero. I mean, I don't know what
Zero.
kind of sponsorship he brings. I don't think that matters. I mean, Stewart Haas Racing is an absolute dumpster fire right now. I would compare them to Williams in Formula One. Yeah, that's where their trajectory is going. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but at
don't
least
feel like it's
Williams
gonna
can
get any
score
better.
points in the top 10.
That's true. That's true.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's a very yeah, it's a bad little trajectory here. But Gregson's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Alrighty. And then also I saw we're gonna talk about this more here with the IndyCar previews, but Stingray Robb joins AJ Foyt Racing in 2024 with support from Penske. We talked about this off stream a little bit. I don't know. What you I guess you should say to the audience what you told me off stream because I thought that was a good point.
Well, yeah. I mean, Foyt has been the career killer for I don't know, the past 10 years in the IndyCar series, maybe even more. But this Penske alignments means absolutely nothing to me because it's still Foyt. It's still Foyt. And you can't change my mind. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've seen the inner workings of that team like firsthand, and it's still Foyt.
Yeah.
That's like, you know what? It's like Haley Deegan's racing career.
You're not gonna
You
pull one of those
even
comparisons to the Columbia
God,
or whatever.
God,
Challenger.
if God's hand came from the sky, she couldn't still win a race. What makes you think Penske could come in and change that team?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything changing it. I mean, I mean this is another good example, right? I bring up SHR as kind of like the Williams of NASCAR. Well, AJ Foyt is the AJ Foyt of IndyCar.
AJ Foyt is the baseline for the most consistent racing team in the world right now. And it's P last every
It's
race.
P last. Oh man. I don't know. I've kind of got like a so Stingray Rob is actually from Idaho. I'm from Idaho. Um he actually raced for an Idaho-based team that ran in the ARCA West about 4 years ago, and I saw him race at the Idaho 208. Seen the talent. I've kind of followed him a little bit on his career path up to IndyCar. So I do kind of want to see him succeed because you don't got a lot of people from the Northwest really having that much of a success in motorsports, really. So I'd like to see him do all right, but I just with like you said, it's AJ Foot Racing. What are your odds,
Yeah. Well, look, the last good drivers we've had come out of the Pacific Northwest was Casey Kane, Greg Biffle,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Those
it.
are the last ones. Brian Scott doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count, not at all, not one bit.
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't count at all. I mean, yeah, and then we haven't really seen anybody come out of like a Montana or Wyoming, and I mean,
Mm-mm.
you kind of consider those Pacific Northwest a little bit of a reach, but
What isn't Eric Jones from?
he's from Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so really, we don't have a whole lot of options up here in the
No.
Pacific Northwest. So it's gonna pull for
We're
somebody
all
of
about
that.
that meth and heroin.
Oh
Trailer
god,
parks.
yeah, we're about chop. If you get my reference. Alrighty, let's move away from that disaster and we'll move on. Lane Riggs actually gets a full-time ride with Front Row Motorsports in the Truck Series, taking over 38 that Zane Smith won a championship with just 2 years prior. Your thoughts on this opportunity here?
Great. Great. Good for him. I hope that he can get something done though. Um, with that equipment. Look, we know the equipment's good. Zane's proved it. Even last year, even though he didn't, race for a championship, I mean, he was still competitive, won races, you
Hmm.
know. But I think more than anything, Zane got in his own head during the last season, and that was really a contribution to his shortcomings. But um, nonetheless, he's stepping into some great equipment. He's stepping into some big shoes to fill, and I think that this is a great opportunity for Lane to come in and get it done, to get some race wins, get his name on the uh, on the map there, and get people talking.
Yeah, I agree. And with what he did in the Cars Tour, and then what he did in Super Late Models at the All American
Yeah,
Series, he's got a lot of talent. I think this is a big dub for him because if you're a young driver coming up through the ranks right now, I think the teams you're looking at to maybe start a career and move towards getting into a Cup Series ride would be Front Row, Spire, with as much as they're investing right now and as much money and backing they have. I think that's a great outlet. These are two teams that are on the rise, and I think if there's not a bad decision to go to either one of those two teams. So
yeah.
super excited to see where that goes. And then Cameron Waters, another V8 supercar driver, just announced a 3-race deal in the RFK Project 60 car. Wow.
Dope.
Invasion. Aussie invasion.
Dope. I dig it. I dig it.
I dig it too. I actually thought about this. I don't know, maybe this is just a pipe dream because I'm like a weirdo when it comes to like racing, and I throw all these random racing scenarios in my head. It's like all I think about anymore, like all the time.
Yeah.
So here, I thought about it. It's like, so in Australia or in the V8 supercars, they have the 1,000 kilometer of Bathurst, right? And then they run with two different drivers. All right, I think what we need to do here is let's run that race, and instead of a second driver being a V8 supercar driver, we send NASCAR drivers over and be the second driver on a V8
God, that'd
supercar
be a
team.
disaster, Jay.
Yes, and then to make it better, let's go to Daytona Road Course and then bring the Australian V8 supercar drivers over, and they run co-pilot on a 1,000 kilometer race at Daytona with the Cup cars in the Cup cars.
That'd be a good product right there.
That would be a freaking awesome way to promote your sports. Do them both. Like, I mean, you don't even have to do the Bathurst race for points. Like, we could do like a second Bathurst race, or we could pick a different track. It doesn't even have to be Bathurst. I just think Bathurst is just a cool place. But yeah, I think that'd be a freaking awesome idea. Let's do it.
Yeah, I dig it.
Now, how much
I'd love to
promotion these
see.
series would get branded? Like, they could literally become like they could literally like grow together as one unit. You know?
I would just love to see like Austin Dillon eat the wall going up the hill. Just be like, and then throw his helmet off the mountain. Something. I don't know.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to do a vetting process to figure out which NASCAR drivers and which V8 supercar drivers can go back and forth. So, if you're a V8 supercar fan, there's some V8 supercar drivers you think did not deserve an opportunity to get in a Cup car with Kyle Busch. To let us know, because we don't think Austin Dillon or Ty Dillon or Daniel Hemrick are cut out to be in a V8 supercar at Bathurst.
That's right. That's right.
We'll send you our 20 best. You send us your 20 best, and we'll just make a trade. Alrighty. Yeah, I guess unless there's anything else you want to talk about with Cameron Waters signing that deal, then I think we should move on to the IndyCar stuff.
I just want to say, look, I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I think it's always great when we get international attention. Brings more fans to the sport. It gets people interested, and we should never be looking at something like this as a negative. It's always a positive. Change is good. Change is always good, and testing new things. Now, if it doesn't work, hey, it doesn't work, and you already know the solution, right? The solution is just to go back to what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, change change can always bring unexpected results, but you never know what it is unless you try it.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. I'm excited for the future of what this could lead to. Like, I think that this is some good stuff. Good stuff
Yeah.
in the works. Alrighty. I think it's time to talk about IndyCar. I think I'm ready to do it. Let's do it. Let's talk about some IndyCar. I'm so excited for this season to get here already. IndyCar this year was super awesome. We saw a pretty dominant performance down the stretch by your one and only Alex Palou. I mean, unbelievable what he did there at the end.
Madman.
Absolute madman. But to start this podcast, to start this topic, we're gonna start with Indy NXT. A lot of shakeups this year. A lot of drivers moving up to IndyCar from Indy NXT. A lot of drivers moving away, going back into the Formula ranks or going back to their countries, doing their own thing, like Nanini. So we have a whole new roster here of drivers to look towards. I guess I'll take my early championship favorite here, and I think I'm kind of taking the low hanging fruit here. I'm gonna take this one because I know which one Tom kind of wants to take, so I'm not gonna take his little projection. I'm gonna take Nolan Siegel. Nolan Siegel didn't win as many races I think he should have last year. Christian Rasmussen was just unstoppable last year. I believe Nolan Siegel, now that this is his second year in the series, I believe he's going to kind of take that role as being the man to be in Indy NXT. I think he's going to be the Christian Rasmussen of this season. I think he's going to win a lot of races. He's going to be highly competitive, and I think he's going to be controlling the points for most of the season. Now, with that being said, who do you think is your championship favorite going into the season?
Oh yeah. My championship favorite is the one and only Louis Foster. Now look, if you did not see his Detroit qualifying performance, holy cow, what an absolute unit that we saw on track that day. That man in the first round of qualifying slapped the wall, broke his rear toe link, and went on to win pole. I was like, Dude, that was the day that I was like, all right, I'm a Louis Foster fan. That takes some absolute steel balls to do that. And he went back out and won pole. One pole. Um, so I think that Louis Foster, and regardless, Louis Foster had a great season. 2 wins, lots of podiums. He had a lot of bad luck, including Detroit. That first race where he won pole and gets dumped going into turn one at the start of the race. I don't remember who it was. Was it? I think it was Francis, Ernie Francis. Is that right?
Detroit. Are you talking about Detroit?
Yeah.
It
Simpson? Or
was
was it Abel?
Simpson, Kevin Simpson.
Oh, Simpson. My bad.
Yeah,
So, and he would have won that race. He would have won Detroit 2 as well
yeah.
if it wasn't for some other outside influences happening there. I mean, he could have had a 4-win season.
Mhm.
He would have won Rookie of the Year. I mean, Nolan Siegel, phenomenal driver too. It's going to be a phenomenal battle for the championship next year between Siegel and Foster for sure.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. And now I kind of want to talk about some sneaky guys that might have a little bit to throw in here. I'm gonna say James Rowe. At the end of the season last year, he really turned up. Didn't get a win, but by the end of the season, I think he finished third in points last year. By the end of the season, I mean he found ways to consistently get good finishes, and I think that's what's going to take to be a sneaky contender here in Formula or in Formula Two, in the NXT this season. And then also, I think you got to throw up Reese Gold. I think that at the end of the last season, he wasn't at pace with his teammates Rasmussen and Siegel. He did find a win, and he did find ways to get some good finishes at the end of the year. I think maybe he takes that momentum and rolls it into this season. Is there anybody else maybe I missed that you're looking at to be a contender in
Yeah,
this
so
season?
I haven't heard a lot about Matthew Brabham, and I don't know if he's racing next year or not. But what I do got to say is he ran 6 races last year and finished 16th in points, which is insane, right? Um, he was going up against people who ran 8 races, 9 races, 10 races, and finished 16th after replacing Nanini. So, I think that Matthew Brabham, if he does get it, he should get a deal. I don't. There's no reason why he shouldn't get a deal. He had a monster half season there. Um, but I think that Matthew Brabham, and I think that Ernie Francis Jr. I think he has a ride next year with what's that one? I want to say Ellen
Yeah, it's HMD. That's who it is.
HMD.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, with HMD. So I'm gonna look at Ernie Francis as well, um, and and Simpson. Um, yeah, those are my three that I'm looking at. You can go out and say McElray or Abel or all that other stuff, but I just think that with these guys, they had some adverse seasons, and like Ernie Francis broke his wrist.
Yeah.
Uh, Kiffin Simpson missed what is it, Gateway?
hmm
Um, and got disqualified as well during a race. Matthew Brabham ran half a season, was just an absolute unit. That's what I look at, and I think that with some of those um, bad luck out of the way, and hopefully a ride for next year, that these guys are definitely going to be ones to look for.
Alrighty. No, those are some great picks. I just want to give a quick shout out to two drivers real quick before we move on. First off, Jamie Chadwick. I think this is the year. How do I put this? She ran pretty good towards the end of the year. She was finally starting to figure it out. You could just tell that her driving technique improved. She was starting to mix it up and towards the mid pack of the field. Maybe not have the finishes that she probably should have deserved because she did run better than a lot of her finishes showed. I think this is the year with a lot of the heavy hitters moving on to IndyCar is her year to kind of move up to the midfield, maybe contend for podiums, and just maybe get a win. I don't know if you feel the same. I feel like this is kind of the decisive year here and her projected career moving forward in IndyCar.
Yeah, it's her rookie year, right? It's the year
Second
to
year.
learn. She's a rookie. No. This is her first year. She just came from the uh, uh the women's Formula Tour, whatever that was. This was her first year with Andretti.
This year, yeah.
Yeah, 2023.
2023. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're
2024.
saying. I
That's
see what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah, I
in
see what you're saying.
2024 it's time to turn up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can't really judge a driver off their rookie year, and if you do, that's kind of dumb. But um, we should expect a good performance out of Jamie. Now, she did have a great run towards the end of the season, something to definitely build off of. So I think that for 2024, that she's got a lot of momentum, and hopefully she can turn that into results.
I agree. I'm excited to see what she can do in 2023. Right, second year. It's time to find those results and be consistent. And
Yeah.
then the rookie I'm looking at here is Yuvin Sundermurthy. I think he's an Indian race car driver. He ran some F2 last year. I believe that this is the year for him to take rookie of the year. I guess my expectation is a little higher on him. I feel like he's got a lot of talent. I've seen it last year. Um, Indy NXT field isn't probably as strong as you would see in probably a Formula 2 right now as it was last year even. I think last year's field was a little stronger than it is this year. So I would like to see what he can do as a rookie, maybe get some good finishes, maybe find a few podiums, uh, maybe contend for a win. I know he races for Able Motorsports, but can he outperform Jacob Abel? I think he can, honestly. I'm not going to lie. I don't really have a lot of expectations for Jacob Abel, but I don't know. I'm excited to see what he can do. I feel like he's going to do I think if there's a rookie on this list that's ready to shock people and do things that we're not expecting from a rookie, I think he's the one to pick.
Yeah. I don't really know, Jay. I don't know if I have an opinion about him. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yuvin Sundaramurthy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a tongue twister for sure.
Yuvin
Yuvin Sundermurthy.
Sundaramurthy.
Sundaramurthy. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tongue twister, man. It'll really mess you up. I think you should change the
Well,
name to Yuvin. Just go with Yuvin.
Yuvin.
I don't know.
Yuvin.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. I'm just saying that as a shot in the dark is maybe somebody to look out as a rookie this season.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time to move on to IndyCar. We kind of went through our Indy NXT dark horses, maybe some sleeper championship picks, our championship picks, and then maybe some people to shout out to look forward to. So now we're gonna do a little bit of IndyCar stuff. So this year, this is what I want to talk about first was the All-Star race. We talked about it on a previous podcast, made a video about it. A very unique event. Do we see this All-Star race being a success? Do we see this being a rotational race onto different tracks? Do we see this maybe go away at the end of the year? Does it not be a success? Like, what are your thoughts going into this All-Star race idea?
I think it's going to be an absolute hit. I think it's. I mean, it used to be a great thing in NASCAR, but they got to add like a twist to it. You know what I mean? Like you remember when we used to do the All-Star race in NASCAR, and to qualify they had to do 2 laps, a pit stop, and then another lap or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. You got to do something like that, make it really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but regardless, it's a cool thing. We're going to what's that track called? Thermal
Thermal
Thermo
Club. Yeah, excuse me.
Thermo Club.
Thermal Club.
Um, so I think that's going to be really cool. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of unknowns. The race is going to be crazy. It's going to be. It's all about bragging rights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to see I think we're going to see a um a driver win that doesn't normally win.
That's actually a good prediction. I like that. I like that thought process. I guess my biggest thing with this All-Star race, and I guess my biggest complaint with like NASCAR's All-Star race as well, there's just too many people that make the All-Star race. Like, how
Yeah.
in the hell is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Austin Dillon and Josh Wise or whoever the hell else made the All-Star race? How are these people making the All-Star race? Like, there's way too many damn people being All-Stars. That's like over half your damn league is an All-Star. Like, if I'm hoping the way IndyCar does it is the way it should be done. It should be anybody that won a race last season. Since it's the first race of the season, unlike NASCAR where it's like they run it mid-season, like in NASCAR, I think if you won anywhere from the week after the All-Star race to the week before the All-Star race, those are the only people that should be allowed to be in it anyway. And then there should be no provisionals or any of this other bullshit. And then you have to race your way in. I think that's the way they should do it. I think that's how they should do it with IndyCar. Anybody that won last year should be automatically locked in. And then maybe do like a 20 lap sprint race or something where you qualify and then they take like the top two and they advance in the All-Star race. Like, and then shorten the length of the race because it's an All-Star race. It doesn't need to be a long race. It just needs to be a sprint race, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's and then like you said, I like the different formats of qualifying. Like NASCAR's just messed around with like 10 different formats. We used to have like a battle royale format, and then we did like
Yeah.
the like you said with the pit road, and then they did something this year. I couldn't even follow it because it was so weird and confusing. But yeah, I think if you make some interesting, make it a team aspect, make it interesting.
Yeah.
Don't include so many cars. Don't make it such a long race. Don't throw any gimmicks mid race into it. Just a quick sprint race. Best drivers in the series qualify to get in, make it qualifying unique and special, and I think it'll be a hit. And I hope that they rotate this on multiple tracks. I would like to see this go bounce around 4 or 5 different tracks. Like I don't know how I feel about Laguna Seca and IndyCar after this last season. I've got a little bit of nightmares after that still, but I mean that'd be another good track maybe someday to go back to. But yeah, like even Indianapolis Road Course would be a cool All-Star race event. Something just mix it up a little bit year to year. I'm excited to see this Thermal Club be used. Maybe they could take something from Thermal Club. Maybe they can race at more private clubs or more like street course, road course, something that they wouldn't normally go to and use that as like an all-star event. That's my
Yeah.
thought. And I agree. I think we will probably, if they do let everybody compete, I think we will see a random winner win the all-star race. There's nothing to lose. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
race where I could see Santino Ferrucci absolutely sending it into the corner, absolutely destroying half the field, and some random guy goes on to sneak in a win. So I'm excited.
Yep.
Alrighty. Indy 500. I think we need this is the biggest race of the year. This is IndyCar, man. This is probably the biggest race in the entire world, in my opinion. I mean, you could say 24-hour Le Mans, you could say Monaco, you could say Daytona 500. I mean, you could say Bathurst. I mean, there's a few races out there, but I think this is the crown jewel event of all crown jewel events. Everybody wants to win Indy 500. Picks, sleepers, what to expect in this race. That's kind of where I want to go with this. I think Alex Palou wins this race. I think I said this a few times in the past podcast. I'm going to stick with it. I think Alex Palou wins this race this year. Like we said, he was the best car last year. I think it was him and Rinus VK were the best two cars early in that race. Unfortunately, Rinus VK just made mistakes, really messed up Alex Palou. Alex Palou went like a lap down at one point, had to race back onto the lead lap, drove through the field, still finished in the top 5. I think Alex Palou doesn't have the issues he had this year, and I think he takes the Indy 500 for the first time. I I I have a weird feeling that Penske does not have the speed this year in the Indy 500. I just have a feeling that they're going to take a step back. I really do. I've got a really weird feeling about Penske at the Indy 500 this year. I feel like they're not going to be the team to beat. I think it's going to be Ganassi for sure. Uh, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how well uh Marcus Ericsson does. Now that he's moving over to Andretti. I think he's going to take a step back. We know how competitive he's been the last few Indy 500s. I think that he's going to take a step back with Andretti. And then you got the dark horses in there with McLaren. How good is McLaren going to do? We've seen Rossi win it in the past, and he's been really competitive. Pat O'Ward said he's going to win this Indy 500, and then he's going to Formula One. Like he said, that's his goal this year is to win the Indy 500, and he's out. He's done. So how much of a chip does he have on his shoulder? And then you got to throw in Kyle Larson. How good can Kyle Larson do? We've seen guys from NASCAR come over and run the Indy 500 before, and they've been successful. Does Kyle Larson be a contender in this race? I mean, that's my biggest unknown. I have no idea what to think about that yet. I feel like he can get in and get into anything and be competitive, but this is a different animal, and it's 500 miles. Can't make mistakes. We saw one simple mistake last year with Alex Palou and Rinus VK take the best two cars out of winning that race. We saw Marcus Ericsson control the latter half of that race and lose it on the last lap pass with the shenanigans on the NASCAR shenanigans last year that they instituted. I don't know. I guess I could keep ranting about that, but I think it's Alex Palou. I think it's the man to beat. And what are your thoughts going into Indy 500? Just synopsis. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think that Alex Palou comes into that weekend or comes into the whole month of May as just somebody with a vengeance. I think that Alex Palou is going to be unstoppable in the month of May. I think that there's nobody else who is going to have that burning passion to win the race other than Alex Palou. I think he absolutely did get robbed last year with some of the pit lane crap that happened. I think that Renus VK obviously is a great choice too, and he's so fast. Ed Carpenter racing just in general is so fast. Every year we go to the Indy 500, and so I think it's a big toss up between VK and Palou, but I'm gonna go with Palou, and I'm just saying that purely based off of overall talent. We saw at the beginning of the year that Renus VK was extremely good, extremely fast, and towards the end of the year he really tapered off. We didn't see a lot of them, but we continued to see Palou, and I think that just coming off of a championship like that and what he did in 2023 in terms of just how dominant he was, we don't see an end to it in 2024. And I think it continues through the month of May with Alex Palou.
Alrighty, I agree. I like the comparison you made there with was Renus VK has really started off real strong with Palou and then tapered off. I would say it would be the opposite with Christian Lundgaard, right? Christian Lundgaard didn't start
Yeah,
too strong and then he just exploded. If Christian Lundgaard would have been able to maintain that momentum from the last 8 races that he did at the beginning or at the beginning of the season, he could have been there to contend with Alex Palou for the championship. So it'll be interesting to see how he fires off here this year. I guess my last one, I want to talk about the Milwaukee Mile coming back first, and then I want to jump into our championship picks, maybe some expectations, and then I got some questions I want to talk over. So, Milwaukee Mile, we know who the king of ovals are, right? I mean, it's no secret in IndyCar racing right now. It's Joseph Newgarden, without a doubt. He is the king of ovals. He won, what, 4 or 5 last year, and had a little bit of an issue there that cost him the final one. He probably should have won that one, but you can't beat the
yeah.
Iceman Scott Dixon when he is just on fire. Um, Milwaukee Mile, what to expect this year? I think it's going to be a very interesting race. I think it's going to play out a lot like Gateway has in the past. I think it's going to play out uh real strategy wise. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of cautions. I think it's going to be real pretty much straightforward race. Uh Multiple, it'll be kind of like Texas Gateway type race where you won't have that many cars on lead lap. Um but I'm actually going to take Scott McLaughlin. And I think that he learned a ton on his oval game over the last couple of years. Really kind of put it to Joseph Newgarden in the last few races last year on ovals. I think that he works on his craft a little bit more. I think he's just getting better and better. And I think it's a matter of time before he finally wins an oval. And I think he does it at Milwaukee this year.
Hmm. Huh.
I'm going for it, man. I think it's gonna happen.
Uh, That's a great pick, honestly. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna look at the old timers here. They've got the experience around that racetrack. I think that. I think that we're gonna be seeing an old timer win, and that old timer is gonna be Will Power.
Mm.
Yep, I think Will Power. I think Will Power is gonna win that race, and I think it's not just because of his experience, but I think it's because that he had such an abysmal 2023. Abysmal. Um and I think that um you know Penske's pretty cutthroat with their IndyCar program, and you know I just I have this feeling that Roger Penske is looking hard to replace Will Power if 2024 doesn't come to fruition of what he wants. But I think that with Will Power, he does have a burning passion to win in 2024, and I think he feels like 2023 was pretty abysmal as well. Um, so I think that we're all on the same page here with Will Power's 2023 season, but I think that he's going to win. in Milwaukee for sure.
I like that. That was gonna be one of my questions for you later. So you think that my question for later, I guess I should ask it here now since you brought up him winning Milwaukee. How many races does he win in 2024?
One.
One? Okay,
Yeah.
that's bold. I was gonna say under over on 2.5, but I think you're taking the under on that one. I'm gonna take the
Yep.
under on it as well. I think he'll win 2 races. I think he'll find a way to win one road course, maybe Detroit. I mean, he was probably the best car at Detroit, honestly. I mean, he really had the best car. He just really got stuck in traffic there at the end, and then Alex Blow was able to obviously take control and win the race. But um, I think that's a racetrack that I think he's gonna go back with a little chip on his shoulder to win that one as well. So that's kind of where I'm looking at too. And then I don't think he'll win Milwaukee, but I think he will win an oval this year for sure. Maybe there's Iowa. I don't think see the Indy 500, but yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Um, I guess we should talk about championship favorites, maybe talk about some of the rookies coming in or the younger drivers and which ones we think might stand out. And then yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. Championship favorite for me, I think I want to say Alex Palou, and I really want to take the low hanging fruit here. I really do, but I'm not going to. Not going to. I think we see a little bit different championship battle here. I think, like I said, with the Scott McLaughlin sentiment here, I think that Penske's gonna take a step back in like the Indy 500 is like one race. I think they're gonna take a step back in, but like you said, with Will Power, that chip on his shoulder to win this year, I think Scott McLaughlin kind of has that same feeling because there was a lot of races last year he probably should have won that he didn't win, and like really showed some pace. A lot of them were on the ovals too. Just got beat by Newgarden. I think that he really improves his game this year. I think he gives Newgarden a run for his money on ovals. That's something that Pelot I know has not. That's kind of one of his weaknesses right now is oval racing. Really, the best opportunity he had last year was Indy 500. The other ovals, he just was mid. He was just about fifth, sixth place guy at best. So I think that's where McLaughlin's going to be able to do some of his damage. We know how good of a road racer he is, street racer especially. I think we're going to see him win a few of those as well. I think he takes a step forward. And then I'm gonna say it because I'm a real big Pato O'Ward fan. I'm not a McLaren fan at all, but I do like Pato O'Ward. I think Pato O'Ward also has a chip on his shoulder this year. He says, "I want to win the Indy 500. I'm done." I think not only if he can win the Indy 500 or find a way to win the Indy 500, I think he carries that momentum on through the rest of the season. I think he's a contender for the championship down the line. Whether McLaren has figured something out with their pace, whether he can keep his head focused on winning the championship and not get too ahead of himself, looking forward to that F1 future. I think that's an interesting pick. What are you thinking, Tom?
Yeah, so man. Um I it it's so hard to not choose Pelot.
Yeah, I know it
Um
is.
and then second in points this year was Dixon.
Mhm,
So it's like, all right, Ganassi, and then who was third? Newgarden? But Newgarden's only really strong in the ovals.
mhm,
And then who's after that? The points gap was so big between those or after those three drivers, it doesn't really matter. Now we're talking about the Christian Lungards. We're talking about, you know, uh, uh, McLaughlin, Will Power, you know, I mean, the list just goes on, but I mean, it's so hard not to choose Pelot. I think Pelot goes back to back. I really do. There's got to be something monumental to stop Pelot this year and winning the championship. I mean, he is just on a whole new level of race car driver. I mean, I'd put him close to like Max Verstappen consistency. I mean, Formula One's a little bit of a different series when it comes to stuff like that because there's a lot of different variables that go into the car, but you still need a very fast, consistent driver. And I think that Alex Palou and Max Verstappen can be relatable in those terms. So I have a hard time choosing anybody but Palou. I really do. I just don't see it. I just don't see. Now Scott Dixon has a good beginning to the season. Like we see him win 2 races before the Indy 500. Oh man, you better watch out because he's winning the championship. You
mhm.
know what I mean? Like if he wins 2 races before the Indy 500, it's over. It's over. And that is typical Scott Dixon. Um, But if we see Scott Dixon struggle like what we did this year, but really turn it up at the end of the year, it really depends on where he turns it up. But uh, I just don't see it. I just see Pillow just dominating again. Um, so are we doing dark horses?
Yeah, we're gonna do well, I guess for dark horses, the rookies, right? Christian Rasmussen. We have Pietro Fittipaldi. I guess you kind of consider Stingray Robert rookie. He's got a whole new landscape here for you. Kiffin Simpson, and then
David
I'm
Malukas,
gonna count David Malukas as well. That was the other one I was going for. With his trade over to McLaren. And then I think you could throw Marcus Armstrong in there as well as Linus Lundqvist. Out of those guys, who do you think could be someone that could surprise us this year with multiple type wins?
mm, well, I wasn't gonna choose any of those drivers.
Oh, really? Okay.
I
Okay.
I was gonna choose Lundgaard, but I might be a
There
little
you go.
biased there. But he won a race last year. But if we're gonna talk about the drivers that didn't win a race, um, I'm gonna go with Malukas.
Yeah, that's a good
Yep.
pick.
I think Malukas is a hidden gem. I think Malukas is the Ross Chastain that we saw 5 to 10 years ago in NASCAR.
Hmm.
And you give him one opportunity and he's going to take it and soar. And he's given that opportunity now. I think we're going to see a great season out of Malukas.
No, I agree 100%. I think that is a great pick. I am super excited about it. Um, and then, like you said, with Ed Carpenter Racing being really competitive on at the Indy 500, I mean, they've really been competitive on ovals the last few years. We saw the speed that Rinus VK had right off the gate. I'm looking at Christian Rasmussen. I know he's a rookie; it's hard to put expectations on it, but just this guy has speed. He has a ton of talent. He's gonna get to speed fast. Whether I would like to see by the end of the year him running consistent with Rinus VK. If he could do that, I know he's gonna have a very bright future in IndyCar, and I'm really excited for it. And then I do have to shout him out because this guy really impressed me as a rookie. He only ran the road courses last year to know. He didn't run any ovals. Now this year he's going to be making some oval starts. Marcus Armstrong. I think this guy is a sleeper. I don't think anybody's got him on his radar, and I'm going to put him on my radar because I feel like we're going to see a different driver in that number 11 car next year with Marcus Armstrong, and I think he's got a lot of talent, and I think he's going to prove it on a weekly basis. I don't think he's going to be Dixon Pillow-esque because that's a lot to ask for somebody
Yeah,
making their first full-time season. But I think he's going to outperform Linus Lundqvist. I believe so. And
I
I
think so
think
too.
I think that he's going to have a pretty outstanding year. Is there anybody
Yeah.
else that you want to talk about that I might have missed, or anything else you random you want to say here?
No, I'm curious to see how the rookies do at Ganassi this year. Which is Simpson. It's Simpson and Mark, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Marcus
Yeah,
Armstrong and
so
Linus Lundqvist. Yeah,
Marcus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's not
you're talking about Ganassi, right? It's Linus Lundqvist and Marcus Armstrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why was I thinking Kiffin Simpson?
Well, because he was going to be running that fifth car. I think he's running like a part-time thing with like Juncos and then
Okay,
with
whatever.
Ganassi. It's like a weird thing. I was reading into it. It was like confusing me. So
Um, no, I think you're right. The biggest one to look at this year, in terms of, I'd still consider um um Armstrong a rookie for next year.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
would
it's his
too.
first full time season. Um, he's absolutely one you need to look out for. He was really good in the races that he ran. I mean, he was top 10 every race. A great running by him. But I really don't think. We really don't know, do we? I mean, who to really look out for? We just know Marcus because of his previous runnings.
Right.
But yeah, I agree though.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting season. We see this with
Yeah.
every motorsport series in like out there. Every 5 years, we see like a big shift in like the drivers coming in. And right now we've got that big shift, right? Like there's a lot of new names to IndyCar over the last 2 years. So lot that's gonna be unfolding here. And then, like, obviously, Pato Ward might be moving on. I mean, we might see Will Power, Scott Dixon retire soon. So there could be another change of the guard coming soon. So we're in that kind of that phase that NASCAR was in 5 years ago, Formula One was in 3 years ago. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited for this season. Talked about pretty much everything, right? Championship. I guess I did have one more question. I did have one more question because I want you want to get your answer opinion on this. Roman Grosjean expectations for 2024.
Oh, okay. 0 wins, 0 podiums, 3 top 10s.
Yeah, I don't think I could disagree. I was super excited for him last year, and like I think me and you pulled for him just about every
Yeah,
race, and he just kept
every
and it
race.
just got worse the whole season, and it just yeah.
It
I'm
was
with
really
you.
sad,
It
really.
was sad, dude.
Because he was so good at Del Coin. He goes to Andretti, and you're like, man, this is his shot. And then he pulls a typical Roman Lotus esque F1 career back to Haas F1 career at Andretti and IndyCar, and it was just maybe Roman really just doesn't have it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's just
That's a
it's
hard pill
sad.
to swallow, though.
Yeah, it is for sure. I'm with you 100%. I really was hoping that we'd see some great things out of him. Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about IndyCar related, any NXT related before we end the podcast here tonight?
Yeah. So I I I was a big fan of his in 2023. I'm going to continue to be a big fan of his in 2024. I expect multiple race wins with Christian Lundgaard, and he is other than the obvious of championship favorites, but he will be my favorite for 2024.
I like it. I like it. He is the flag bearer of Andretti, or I
Ray
mean
Hall,
Ray Hall right now. Excuse me.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm
And
excited to see what he does.
Fittipaldi's not going to do anything.
No.
I'm calling it right now. I'm calling 0 race wins, 0 podiums. I think we'd be lucky if he got 1 top 10,
Yeah.
honestly. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. I don't care. But Fittipaldi, that name has not been prominent since his great to the fourth power grandfather.
Twice
So
removed.
yeah. So it's just I don't think that I think that Ray Hall himself is on the up and out. We saw some great things out of him. Mid Ohio was an amazing turnaround. The race after that in Toronto, Lundgaard wins.
Yeah.
So they found something. And we may see a huge turnaround at Ray Hall this year. And that's the one team I also want to say that that's going to be the biggest improved team in 2024. It's going to be Ray Hall. And I think that Ray Hall is going to have a great year. I think that Lundgaard's going to have a career defining year. And I don't think Fittipaldi's going to do anything, but he's going to have pretty decent support behind him. Um, but Lundgaard and Ray Hall are my favorite driver for 2024 and most improved team.
There you have it. Yeah, I'm excited for this season. We're gonna be kicking it off here at St. Petersburg at the end of March, and then we go straight to All Star
Yeah.
race, and then move on to the nitty gritty of the season, and then championship finale. I guess one thing I didn't mention: Nashville championship season finale. That's
Huh.
interesting to me. I don't know how to think about it. I'm not really a huge fan of Nashville, like the street course, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they're just trying to hit that southern base, hit more NASCAR fans. I don't know what
I
they're doing
don't.
with that whole Nashville
I
thing.
think it's just because of Nashville, man.
It's
I think
gotta
it's
be.
just because of Nashville. It's not because of the on-track product. It's not because of, you know, the monies. It's because of the geological location
Yeah,
and what's in Nashville. I think. I don't think there's anything else to go with that.
yeah, I think you're right. 100%.
Now, hey, look, it's healthy. At least we're changing spots for the final race.
Yeah,
I mean,
NASCAR can't even do that.
we went to Phoenix. Look, we tried Phoenix. Okay, it's I don't
Let's
think
move on. Yeah.
yeah, we need to move on.
Seems like everywhere, every league changes their finale, but one. I don't know. We can get into that. Alrighty. Yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna summarize it. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. We just hit 800 subs on the channel. We're
Yeah,
closing in,
buddy.
just 200 subs away from our 1,000 sub mark. So we appreciate every single one of you that comes and watches our videos, likes, comments, and then hits that little red subscribe button. It means the absolute world to us. Next week, if you like this type of podcast, we're gonna do it again. But this time we're doing Formula One. So make sure to tune in. We're going to get into everything Formula One to kind of wrap out the 2023 calendar year and set you guys up for the final series of 2024. And then the week after that, we are going to be giving the first podcast of 2024 is going to be our 10 bold predictions for the 2024 motorsport season. Me and Tom are going to come up with 10 absolute outlandish bold predictions. We're going to share them with you here on the podcast, and we cannot wait to see how many of these bold predictions come to fruition or not. It's going to be interesting and fun to talk about. And then I think we might do a react video at the end of the season to see how close we were on any of these or how many we actually got correct. Make sure to follow all of our socials. They're all on the bottom of the screen now. Go follow us on X, Patreon, Facebook, Twitter. All of those follows help us out immensely to continue building this brand and being able to bring great content to you guys on YouTube. Go check out our merch store. We got lots of cool swag the holiday season. You can go buy some holiday gear as well. Go buy a stocking to throw under your tree for the old Santa Claus to come give you some goodies. And then go buy some nice shirts, hats, t-shirts, sweaters, sweatpants, hats, beanies, everything on our merch store, all swagged out Digga Boy stuff. All of that stuff goes back to help us out to bring you more great content here on YouTube. Also, if you guys want to support our channel even more than that, we have a membership program. Join our membership program. Dallas Seward is a member of our membership program. There is multiple tiers for you guys to choose from with different benefits at different levels. Find one that best suits your interest in helping our channel out, and you will get to reap the amazing benefits that come along with it, and featuring a potential opportunity to be on our podcast or our broadcast or get shout outs like Dallas on all of his podcasts, get some cool chat emojis, all kinds of cool stuff, merch a couple times a year, give you some free merch. There's nothing better than some free merch. Who doesn't love a free t-shirt? All right. And then I will let Tom talk about King of Camo and anything else he would like to talk about before we end this podcast here tonight.
Yeah, make sure you guys go check out our affiliate channel, the King of Camo. Go check them out. It's over on YouTube and Instagram. They got an Instagram over there. But go give them a like and a comment and a subscribe over there. It means a lot to them. It means a lot to us as well when you guys go and subscribe and like and comment their stuff too. If you guys like anything from mild to wild on customizations or modifications to your firearms, then you know what, the King of Camo is the place for you. They do lots of cool stuff over there. And yeah, go check out their YouTube channel. They do you could just go see what they do. I mean, it's pretty crazy, pretty cool stuff that they do. They also got some really cool skits over there. I spend a lot of time surfing their channel and watching a lot of their funny and cool stuff. So
Me too.
highly suggest it. Highly suggest it. They do a phenomenal job on their video editing and a great channel that they have built so far. So go check them out. Remember, now in April we're having a little bit of a contest here between the three channels, King of Camo, Conservative Guns and Armor, and the Digga Boys. Go over to their channel and do us a solid and
Yes.
put hashtag Team Digga Boys on their
Yes.
videos.
Comment
Yeah.
hashtag Team Digga Boys.
Yes.
Show
Yes.
who you rep.
Yeah. Repping. But besides the point, we truly appreciate King Camo helping us out and them helping us out as well in this partnership. So also tomorrow we're going racing. We're going broadcast the Nexus Gen 6 series. So catch us there tomorrow night. We're going to have some great racing, great competitors on track, lots of great content to bring to you guys, broadcasted live here on the Digga Boys channel. And maybe see some new faces or see some returning faces back in the broadcast booth, which will be lots of fun. So just make sure you guys come hang out and hang out with Jay and I, call a race with us, and just have some fun.
Heck yeah, man. I'm excited already. I can't wait for tomorrow. Get some more of that
Me too.
fast racing. Actually, as the Gen 6 series season 2 is actually on a closing, winding down. I'm not sure exactly where we're racing tomorrow or which rate, how many more races they're doing. I believe
Richmond.
it's somewhere like 2. It might be Richmond, 2 more races. I know they got Charlotte, Richmond kind of on the schedule. So we're winding that season down. So come check it out. See who's going to win these last couple races and secure the season before we get into big announcements and big time news coming into 2020.
Yeah.
Can't wait to share with you guys. With that being said, this has been the Full Send Half Mast Podcast, episode 48 here. Thanks for coming and listening to us talk about a little bit of racing tonight. And since we will not see you guys, well, I guess we'll see you tomorrow in that broadcast. But nonetheless, you tune in the podcast. I hope you guys have a great and Merry Christmas with your friends and family and have a great rest of your holiday season. And we cannot wait to bring you some more great content next Tuesday here on the podcast, episode 49, Formula One edition. Don't want to miss it. We'll be here. All righty. That's it. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Later.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sins and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow, for as the curse is found, for as the curse is found, for as the curse is found. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love.
It had to be you. born.